So, let's have a look at Icarus, the first cohort, which is the new game by Dean Hall, you know, the creator of good old DayZ, who then tried to do multiple survival games, and it didn't really, it never came to completion. It never really came to completion like the things he worked on. And it seems like that Icarus is the first game where they're actually working on releasing the game. So let's have a look at the gameplay, which they are showing for the very first time.
Alright, there we go. So, what are we looking at? What is this Icarus? It's our first view of coming off the dropship. What's going on?
So, you know, your classic survival game is about basically just yeeting stuff into your inventory. So you're going around, you're collecting stuff. That's a standard loop of what you're going through.
Okay.
And it's that first moment in Minecraft
Ooh.
when you're bashing trees.
That is not running fluent.
The whole foundation of our project.
Whoa.
Was to focus on those core first mechanics.
I wonder if it is the stream or if it is the gameplay. Wow, that's
basic stuff. Gathering trees,
kind of bad.
Chopping down trees, all that kind of stuff.
Awesome. So, who had most of the decisions on, what kind of shrubs you can harvest, flowers, and all the flora out there?
Well, I mean, we've been working with a great concept team.
Yeah, I assume it's the game, or maybe the game link, or maybe whatever capture card they're using.
And they've been fantastic at basically prototyping a lot of
and it crashed.
Things like that for us to get
Nope.
through. We've got a really great world building.
I think it's the uplink. I think it's not the game. I think it's the uplink.
Oh, that's so great. And Brian, yourself, you've been with the team for quite a while now, I believe. Was it about a year and a half?
About a year, yeah.
So when you first joined the Icarus team, what were your sort of...
I mean, the DayZ performance was pretty bad at the beginning.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. Initially, I was like, it's a good slice of some core gameplay mechanics. Dean might recall specifically what stands out for me. I guess more interesting than my first drop was.
Yeah, I think they're streaming it, and something doesn't seem too great.
Into the building we're in now. And I had during a playtest, which at that time I think we were doing twice a week playtests. During that playtest,
DayZ was an armor mod, so it came with bad performance.
I might have actually had Alyssa or Drew in there.
True.
To find the exotics, the idea of having to, kind of almost to the tune of how I enjoy playing Subnautica, making these micro bases. Have to make these outposts as I explore the world.
That's kind of cool.
Look for the exotic resource. Started to grab me, and I thought about the progress. I hypothetically, because at that point we didn't have the full.
Yeah. So the very interesting thing about this game is, who doesn't know, you are limited on Icarus, which is the planet you're on. You will run out of oxygen at some point, and you have to leave the planet. And if you don't manage to leave the planet in time, your progress is gone.
I'm getting it. I'm going to find the exotic.
Like, it's gone.
That was 9-10 months ago. Really stood out.
So on some of those expeditions can take hours or even days.
They're going to be so excited. I just want to add that yes, we have noticed there is a bit of lag in the stream. So our apologies about that. We'll try to get that fixed as soon as possible. You never know what can go wrong.
Moderate shower. Yeah, apparently weather is also a big thing.
So we'll get that fixed. But thank you so much for bearing with us.
Yeah, it's coming through on our whole loop. So we suspect it's probably on the capture end.
Yeah. So this isn't what we see when we're playing the game. It's just on your end.
Okay, it's a capture card. But yeah, apparently weather seems to be a big thing. Like, there can be lightning storms, and you can be hit by the lightnings and whatnot.
A survival game at its core is about layering in those tensions, right? And we really wanted to make it feel like it was,
Yeah, it's a bit weird that they have
of survival and
an
so the
oxygen pool.
that it's this failed terraforming experiment that humanity devoted all this effort in, and the partial pressure of the oxygen, it's sufficient for plants, it's sufficient for fire, but it's not quite good enough for humans.
Oh.
So the very nature of the exotics is just dangerous to humans. So you've got your suit, and
Okay, there's the explanation why.
Oxygen mineral that's around, very similar to the emergency masks in planes have a mineral in them that when burned turns to oxygen. So you can take this oxide, you can just throw it in your envirosuit and
Okay.
and breathe on it. Or you can actually take it, put it in an oxygen bladder, and
Okay, so you can
basically
produce oxygen.
concentrate it into oxygen tanks and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool. The swimming,
A
the
very
fish.
powerful thing if you run out of oxygen, because it does run out quite quickly. It can catch you off guard, like it has caught me off guard a couple of times when I've been.
I really love the
playing.
weather
you do,
effects so
I would
far.
recommend
Like, I'm
probably
really
stockpile
curious
a little bit
about.
when you first drop. Give yourself enough time to go and really get into the game. So as you can see now on stream, we're chopping down some trees. So we're all of the trees.
So you can see the mission timer, by the way, in the top. Like, it seems like they have a day left.
So awesome.
So, we worked a lot in process for how we're creating the worlds, and really just iterated on the process.
I wonder what engine they're using. If it is their
And,
own
we worked a
engine
lot
or
with
if it is
Epic. They've been
Unreal.
Fantastic about
It looks a bit like
advice about how
Unreal.
we were making the game, to deliver the full area in the map that you're playing on. Every tree is
An hour left?
chopped down.
No,
Every
that's a day.
stone you can voxel mine.
That's a day.
You can get forest fires. They're in a
That's not
storm
an
at
hour.
the moment. The storm can blow down.
You can see
trees,
the
lightning
minutes
can
and
strike
seconds on the
fire.
right side.
So it's
Yep.
it was about being able to achieve a sense of scale, and that was something that we felt was missing. That we wanted.
I
to
thought at first
bring
too
in
that it is an hour.
Right, that's so
But
awesome.
yeah,
And
the
we
minutes
will
and seconds
be
don't make sense there.
Kevin very shortly. So at the moment, the devs are going around collecting.
No. You go on the planet
so they can eat,
for certain
also
missions,
feed yourself.
and you can
And as
come
you can see,
back
it's raining.
to areas you have
So
been to
the
before,
weather does what it
but you
wants,
have to
doesn't it?
leave for your
Like,
ship.
perhaps it's
So
like
it's
a
not
more
like
weather system.
Well,
you leave the planet and
I
everything
think
is
one of the
gone.
things that stood out for me when we first started talking about me.
So you will have multiple areas on the planet you can land, and you can
specifically
prepare for
my
that.
experiences very early on in Conan Exiles when they first shipped it in the sandstorms. One of the things that stood out as like the idea of needing shelter, of wanting to escape from the storm.
Yeah, unfortunately, they never really built on the
Lately,
sandstorm and
there's been
Conan
a lot of talk
Exiles.
about increasing the threat of the storm on the player, as we really dialed in on increasing the threat of the storm on the structures and the objects that they might place around it. But for me,
Yeah, I've seen a picture where lightning hits the building in this game and puts it on fire when it was made from
I'm
wood.
just traipsing through the woods here, and a storm hits. I need a drive to make me want to build a quick shelter, to get inside, and with the kind of almost sheer chaos of the storms and the types of storms for biomes rolling in. I think that will continue to drive players to make these little micro bases.
I'm actually really curious about
it's a big
that.
threat, the storms.
Having actually a game which focusing on weather
We
effects.
wanted to deliver not only really good building mechanics, but a reason to build stuff.
No, that's awesome. When I first jumped in, I think I was bombarded by a lightning storm and it caught things on fire, and it was really interesting just to see, I looked right up to the sky and I could see.
Yeah, it's kinda
lightning
weird, right?
just happening.
Like, there's
It was
spacefaring
it was really intriguing to me. It was a
rays.
very cool experience, and it changes.
And it seems like they can
when
take
you're trying to build a cabin like they are now,
no
you have to
technology
be
with them.
where you're placing the cabin in terms of what the weather is like and what it's doing.
Ooh, the legs are really bad.
Awesome. Alrighty, so crafting. We can see it on the screen right now. Walk us through the basic crafting weapons that you use to get things done.
The storm is just tearing apart that foundation.
Yeah, so you know, I guess
I love the lighting
it's
effects.
not
Like, I
just,
actually love how it
gathering
looks.
materials, obviously.
It reminds me a bit
You
of
need to be able to spend materials
Satisfactory.
and actually, you know, grab stuff. So we wanted to have multiple areas of progression. So there's obviously
I'm
the
afraid of
planetary
tree
progression,
stumps
which
at
is a
this
big
point,
part
just
of it.
saying.
And,
Valheim makes me
your
fear
player,
trees.
sorry, your character that you've created is progressing, and then there's the progression between drops, which occurs in you know in orbit. So and on the planet, that
Also,
basic
this person
crafting
is
level,
running
you're
out
crafting the
of
tools that you might need, rather than bringing
air.
everything with you from orbit, because you know you've spent all your money to get to this planet and prospect, and also why. You know, why use up space in your dropship that you could otherwise fill
Oh,
up
look
with
at
the
that
drops?
skinning.
So that's the thing. Imagine you're going on.
I wonder if you can tame animals here.
With stuff, you know, there's going to be stuff at the destination. So you're sort of living off the land, and that really allowed us to strike a really nice balance. You know, between like you know sci-fi stuff, which allows us to do some really cool things in a survival game, but also. You know, through and into more like prehistoric stuff and actually experiencing.
I hope they're
building
fixing the lags in just a few minutes,
Yeah,
because
I
this
think what I love most
is...
about this game is that,
Ooh.
you know, you are sort of
This is really
futuristic.
unfortunate.
You come from a futuristic background, but when you drop down onto Icarus, you do have to start from scratch. And so I think, you know, understandably there was a little bit of separation and confusion.
The environment looks
first
great,
looking at
though.
the game, but,
I also love
now
that the
you can
mountains
see,
really feel
what
like
they're doing
mountains.
here, why they have to start from scratch.
I wonder if
and
you can go
how,
up there.
The sessions actually matter. So each session is building into the next and into the next. And of course, if you die, you know, you do get left behind if you don't catch on to your dropship in time. And then you're back to square one. And
He's running
think
out of
that is a
oxygen.
definite, like, key feature that separates our game from the other survival
Aw,
games out
little
there.
puppers.
You can also see when they are
Those
building.
wolves.
Yeah, we did talk about the wolves that they would have.
Yeah,
to,
oxygen is
kill
running
them
low.
if they came
Speaking
out.
of running out of oxygen, they are running out of oxygen.
Yes.
I think as
Yes.
well for our tech team, they might want to look.
I think I
reckon
died
we've got,
2
I reckon we've got it
trees
plugged into
once.
USB 2. This is exactly what I did with the Elgato
Yeah.
cam links. I plugged it into through a USB cable. So
Yeah.
there you go, J Rod. Look at that one. I think they have.
I love how the
in-game
mining
sound, but they
looks
can
and
go-
works.
Oh, there's no in-game sound?
Oh. We'll get them to
Oxide.
do that in-game sound.
Oh, so this is what you can do in
I'll
your
really
into
tune in and
your
listen to, the devs
thingy.
talking to
I wonder
one
how
another
often you have to
and
do
see how they're
this.
actually working
I hope you're
together.
not just
Bearing in mind that
running around the whole time looking
So
for
they
oxide.
have
Very
Playing a
efficient,
lot.
yeah. When I jump in, even now, I'm way slower than these guys. I'll just be still chopping down trees.
Is this
at moment.
oxide?
Someone
Yeah.
asked a good question about the timer being this short. We've sort of been experimenting with a variety of different times. So this one's obviously just over a day, but we definitely think that people's drops will last a varying length of time. So they will actually be able to choose from the list they're given
Yeah.
Oh,
which
okay.
drop they want to go down on. So there's quite a bit of agency there for what people want to do. So you just they're looking through the different tiers. That's all just your player's progression on, your character's progression in terms of tech tree. Again, we really wanted some agency there. We haven't we definitely haven't balanced this yet though in terms of how many points everything's spending.
Yeah, you would have noticed the chat
Okay.
there that you
I wonder
level
if you
up
can
quite
unlock
quickly.
everything.
That's just for us in our current build. So when you level up, when the game eventually comes out, it'll be slower and it'll be, yeah, as Dean said, balanced for you.
Makes sense.
Cool. Have
I
we
mean,
got
this is for
on the
showcasing it.
I just need more wood to make a skinning bin.
If not, then it's just very fun.
Yeah, it's just
Cool.
an awkward experience.
They're doing it now.
I'm putting wood and stone and stuff in the chest just next to the crafting bin.
Alright. We're seeing some laggy gameplay. It's really unfortunate that they have a problem with the capture card. I have to say, Like, I always hear so many people telling me, like, yeah, you need a streaming PC and a gaming PC. Oh my god, and then having a capture card, that makes it so much better. Like, I see so many problems nowadays having problems with capture cards. Like, even like top tier high-end streamers. Like, I have watched a little bit of Carnage playing Outriders as of recently, and man, he had serious issues with the capture card. Like, I don't know what it is as of recent, but ugh. I'm staying with my single machine. I never had any problems. So this is really unfortunate for them, because this is the first time showing off the game and having lags. Even if they say this is all like the capture card, and I believe them, a lot of people won't, because they have seen that too often from those type of games. So the trust is not there, which sucks. I love how the building looks, though. Going back to the gameplay, I love how the building looks from the inside. Like, you know how in some games they always feel Lego-esque? And this seems to be like a very much natural heart. I love how it looks from the inside. Yeah, Arc, Daisy.
And I've got as much oxide as I have, but we just need some bladders.
Also love the heat they're showing in the bottom left, like cold and heat.
I'll see if I can bring some more oxide back so we can sort out our oxygen. Oh shoot!
This looks really pretty.
There's a wolf after me. Oh, where are you? The other
Like-
side of the island.
I'm pretty sure this is Unreal.
Oh, wait.
We will see you.
God damn it!
It's also the
Just
bit
hear
rate.
noises. Where are you, Ed?
I got him. I got him.
Nice. It's a close one, Jake. Good work.
Let's see if we can jump ahead a bit and see if we can fix, if they can fix this. If they are attempting to fix it at all. I hope there will be like an upload.
Maybe we need to put like a fence around it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Actually.
A lesser proof fence.
Unless a proof fence.
Yeah.
Hello, Dean.
Hello.
I wonder what the explanation really is, that they are using like stone pickaxes.
You are now illicit.
Who do you think I am?
Like, what is the explanation for
There's
that?
only 3 meat there though, so
Oh, what? I thought I got heaps.
Besides of, it's a
only
game.
3 in the chest.
Like, I would love to know like the lore explanation.
Oh, we're just
In the end, I would not care. But right now it feels like it takes some time to getting used to
out hunting.
that you are running around in spacesuits and you are everything like building
Island.
from stone and wood.
Already said that we're not gonna
The only person that will be Alyssa.
Hey, it'll be an accident.
It seems like they fixed it mostly.
That's true. I got
Set
That's
a
good.
whole fire and then
I really like the lighting effects and stuff. Like, the game looks really good. Also, the interface looks good. I know that Unreal Engine
what I'm really
has,
interested by
like,
is that
base survival
nobody
aspect
has
baked
been,
into the engine.
hit by a tree yet.
So I wonder if this is actually Unreal.
did
Like, it
like
looks like
that,
Unreal.
that's it.
I did. I'm also running out of box.
Cool. We have 1 oxygen bladder, so
Wow.
we're just gonna have to, you know, do a hot swap.
Oh,
Should I chop this tree onto the red building?
You put this-
I wonder if it does damage.
Oh, poor house.
What? No.
Oh, it did!
See it crumbling from the inside.
Wait, no.
Oh, it did damage the house. Awesome.
Oh. I mean, it's still livable, I guess.
Wait, will the tree catch on fire? Okay, drop it on the
It did damage the house. That's what I wanted to see. Yeah,
hope not.
it damaged the cabin.
Looks okay. Looks okay. And I can use the building repair to
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Okay, so they're using like the trees which can actually hurt. I love that. That's good. That's good. I wonder if like they showcase the storm, if when the storm is strong enough and maybe can destroy some trees.
I can't find any.
I wonder if that is possible, because as I said, like I've seen some screenshots where like lightning was hitting like the roof of a building and then set the roof on fire and all that stuff. Like it was actually really cool to see. Dear.
I'm just more worried about like running out of oxygen and dying.
Yeah, I'm still not like they explained, right, that there's like enough oxygen for everyone else besides a human.
Oh, there's wolves around here.
But it's still like a bit. Nah. Nah.
Go for it.
There's
Oh yeah, there's heaps in this game table.
kind of a weak explanation, but hey,
I like
you know
the one
what?
that's got some
I can
strawberry
look
fruit.
behind it.
Thank you.
Like I know that some people will talk about it for
It is,
days,
yeah, it's
but
camouflage from the wolves.
I already looked behind it.
Remember to eat
Like
some
I
fruit
don't
and
really
help
care at this point.
Oh my god, that deer is, hang on, way too close to the campfire.
Campfire is just like way too close in general. You know?
Well,
Just makes me feel
meat is back on the menu, boys.
Okay, I'm gonna build a railing. I don't trust anyone.
I'm
I
not sure if building a furnace inside the house is a smart thing to do. I really love the lighting effects. Oh. Hello? I think the sound is gone. What the? No, it's now super quiet.
Collect it anyway, right?
Alright, there we go.
Even if we don't use it.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Lovely gameplay. We did get it smoother for you all, and the next
Good.
stream we promise that it'll be much better than this. But thank you so much. Things can go wrong on Twitch all the time, and but at least we've got a good. footage
don't
for
blame
you. So
Twitch for
we're
it.
inside a cabin. What are we doing? What's going on?
So they're going through their loop now to smelt the planet's various metal resources, and you can really start to advance through that tech tree. And you know, I think something that you know, obviously there's a lot more that we can show.
I'm really curious if this game can keep me occupied for a long time. Like,
we're really making some
I'm a
really
bit of a
decisions,
survival
making
game
buildings from
snob.
So I see
I am
this
very,
as
very
they've landed,
picky
they're very early
about
on
survival
in
games.
Playing the game, so they don't have a lot of
Like
of
Valheim.
meta stuff.
Fantastic
So
game.
now they've got a
Kept me
metal,
occupied
packed
for
with
over
rather
100
than
hours
smelted
already.
metal. That's going to allow them to gather metal much better than before.
Conan Exiles.
And, you know, it's about that progression is super important. So they've built this initial cabin. This little goat runs across the screen. They've built this initial safe cabin. After
What was
this,
the other
they
game,
locate where the
which we
meta-
played
so
quite a
the
bit?
exotics
We still
are,
haven't finished. Oh,
and,
Terraria.
you know, with radars.
That kept me
And I think as part
occupied.
of that, they might want to build
Fantastic
little
game, because there's a
cabins
real
to
game
build
behind it
safe
besides of
harbors from
just
storms,
I
and
farm
then later on build cabins
resources.
along the way. So we're really just amping that idea of you have purposes for all these buildings you're building.
I love that. It seems like
Awesome. So we are going to run a little bit
The-
over time. So
the
we can
mining
continue to talk about the game, and we want to
is
answer
only in
some
the
questions.
mountains.
So make sure you fire them in the chat right now, and we will.
That's
get
oxygen,
onto,
I think.
Get onto the questions for you, and also the voxel rocks. So who came up with the idea of when you hit a rock, it stays in its formation?
Well, I think you know, one of our pillars, one of our 5 pillars that we came up with the game was that the base survival mechanics are enjoyable, and
I hope so.
You know, Brian, you know, touched on that. You know, what was behind us wanting to sessionize the game, looking at games like Tarkov and, you know, PUBG and Fortnite. They have these great combat mechanics. You know, PvP game, it's about combat. We feel that a survival game is about really good, dare I say, a visceral, you know, mechanics. And so we spend a lot of time thinking about what
Okay.
would make chopping down a tree fun, what would make mining fun. You can actually find caves that you actually have to dig out with a pickaxe.
Oh, that's
People
cool.
have actually dug holes in large rocks and got shelter
And, yeah,
from them, from the storm. So our shelter mechanic supports that.
Okay, this seems to be all Voxel based then.
If they did that.
Yeah, I think the first time I encountered the caves I could break into, I went in there, and I think we'd been kind of piling out the idea of a mega.
Also, what I like,
and
it
that
seems like the
happened to be
pickaxe
that
is
cave.
not
And I was
deteriorating
dropping
that
with
quickly,
a collection of
which
our
is an
cave.
annoying
I
part on a
broke
lot
into
of
the
survival
cave, saw the
games.
mega
It's
resource,
like
and immediately boarded up
you
the
attack
outside.
3
I'm like,
times
"This is
and
where
your
I live.
first
Don't come in here.
pickaxe
You can't. Nope.
No
Just
one
don't come in.
just
I kept it all
disappears.
myself.
And it's like,
It was a lot
oh,
of
come
money.
on.
Now, one thing, we're only showing the forest biome here. In the alpine biome, you have a different set of resources available to you, realistically. So, this is kind of a lot of resources all around, but actually, really, stone in that becomes quite important when you go into the alpine biome.
Resource breadcrumbing is important to drive exploration. 100%.
We've also been doing a lot of work on caves. That should definitely be one of our things.
Someone has a question. Does anything live inside the caves?
Besides me.
Yeah. Besides
Well, we
mine.
don't want to give away too much, I think. So we'll
Bears.
We'll leave that one. We've certainly got big plans for stuff. Caves is something that we put in at the start, but that we've recently been going back and iterating on more. So
Okay.
we've got multiple.
I mean, it's good that
areas
they
of
are not, like,
development team.
showing
There's one team
everything.
called Vision, which is a design team, but it's very cross-functional. And we've got a really great team.
That
there who are
house
going
with the
cross-functional
tree
team
still
going
on
through.
it.
One of their key focuses now is actually bringing an even better experience.
I love
to
it.
Caves. So we're pretty excited to show off. You can actually see a little bit of Liam.
Dude,
one
where's
of
our
our
house?
artists who's working on Vision
It's the
Team.
one with the tree on it.
Trailer.
Alright,
Or,
got it.
There's a cave shot in there, which is pretty awesome.
Someone said, please no wetters.
Yeah, I am terrified.
I
So where
just
does our-
learned what that was.
Oh, yeah,
they're
they're
like
disgusting.
this big grasshopper thing. No, yeah, can't handle it.
Yes, so there is swimming, as you could see earlier. Is there any permanent style of base building in space?
So, look, that's been a big question for people wanting to look at permanence. We definitely hear the community's feedback, and we have a lot of plans and ideas. We do want to make sure that we nail the session-based side of it. Being able to do permanent drops and things like that is absolutely technically possible, but we
Okay.
really want to make sure we nail that that session experience first. But I think we definitely hear people's feedback on it.
Yeah, I think the idea of keeping a drop perpetually running like your classic.
Oh, this is how they make, like,
I mean, it's a non-trivial amount
O2.
of time,
This is
but I
the
think
O2
The
bag.
important element
Okay.
for Icarus to really shine is to dial in that full loop of station and planet and why you want to keep going back.
The water looks
and
really
once
good
we-
in this
once we've
game,
really
especially
found
the
that
water
and made that
animations.
sing, then it's. I think we can definitely talk about the possibility of an alternate, mode for long. We'll see how it
Yeah,
goes.
and we really wanted to bring a real serious look at the survival genre, a real high fidelity. Many of our dev team are seasoned AAA devs with much more experience than me, and I think so we really want to give the actual loop that we've got a real focus on before we just sort of throw things in.
Yeah.
Someone
Make the
has
things which are there
instructions
good,
for
and then move on to the
system
new
drops.
stuff.
So
I'm okay with
we
that.
actually save all the data that's happening on the drop to our central server, and we can use that however we want. And we have some plans to do stuff with it. That will be pretty
I love how
exciting,
Dean
but, we don't want to reveal
Is
too
going back
much.
and forth
Yeah.
between the two people,
Certainly if you,
and
the
the person
idea
on the
of
left is
dropping
just
over
watching the
is
gameplay.
the time that you're given on
He's
the
just
drop
like, dude,
is
I'm watching the gameplay. Why are you
really
looking at
time
me
you
all the
get on
time?
drop. But depending on your mission,
Find that funny.
if you're doing a faction mission, stuff like that, there may or may not be other people or you.
Look at that, Dean
There's
is
a lot
like,
of options we have
right?
for it.
Right?
What
And
we're
he was
trying
like,
to do is hyper focus
What?
on a standard.
I'm watching the
session for
gameplay.
now,
What?
with the idea that we might change it. We might be able to do stuff later on.
I'm sorry, I got to point out the safety bars around the
Yeah.
planet.
It's
That is a
Don't
really
get
good
that.
It's a
idea.
really good idea. Until that catches on.
I love that the skeleton of the deer is still there after they skinned it and took the meat from it. It just doesn't disappear, it actually stays there. That's really cool. What?
Oh dear.
Oh,
Oh.
there you go. Yeah.
Well then.
I just hear whooping and hollering. So as faction, as session, making it
Timber!
session-based gives us so many more options. it allows us to do things like say, okay, this is the game.
I wonder
we're
if like
facing now.
you can
We
use the
could do other
bones,
game
or
modes.
if like
Future checkers
cadavers
don't need to be constrained to what
can
we're
get
doing
more
now.
animals
That's a
in,
really
like
important
wolves.
point that I think we tend to gloss over because
That
we're
would be
so
cool.
used to talking about it. But if we wanted to introduce different game modes that have different rules around, you know, the players and stuff like
Not
that,
gonna lie.
we totally can without breaking people's experience.
The current in that river looks stronger than the person could swim.
You know, co-op, survival.
That
but
current
yeah,
looks
you know, we can
far
totally
too
look
strong
at other things
for the
if we want.
speed they are moving.
Awesome. Well, I think we should probably wrap up the game side of things and
No.
start to wrap up the stream.
No!
What's a good recap, Brian, of what we've shown everyone today?
I want to see more.
Well,
I'm
I
actually
think
curious.
I think it's important to really focus on, because I've heard a lot of
Of the waterfall.
questions. Is it
The
the
waterfall.
The
I
waterfall.
only briefly got to see the waterfall too. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Maybe we could show them next time.
I get the drive. I think it's important to focus on the question that comes up again and again about permanence and the idea of perpetuity.
Wait. What?
8 years now working exclusively in those kind of open, persistent worlds.
Find a partner in your life
I
which
will
looks at
say
you
that the core
like
survival
Dean Hall
mechanics
just looked at
really
the other
have
guy.
been dialing those in,
Just
focus on
like-
that foundation is there, and the idea of sessionizing it's not a lack of permanence. The permanence moves from the planet to the player, the station. The player continuously going back and forth and building up the resources that you can bring to bear, the tools that you can bring down in your drop, changing how your drop is.
Show
And I
the
think
gameplay
really
more.
leaning into the idea of, you know, your time in the hab, that is your progression as a player. You know, maybe we can explore more permanence, like affecting change in the hab. Maybe, you know, decoration, whatever the case may be, letting that be kind of like in Tarkov, like your,
Yeah.
your little hub.
We
Yeah,
talked
you're
about the
going into
oxygen
those
and green
missions
in this game.
and you're going in there.
It's a
with,
bit weird.
like drills. You know, you're
Yeah.
going back. We're giving you a reason to go back.
Like, if
and
there is
drop.
enough,
You've still got this
like,
persistence between them with your character and your stuff, and you know, bringing
CO2
you know, using your exotics to bring down vehicles, and you know, having build
produce
infrastructure,
oxygen.
bridges, and things like that, so that you can get more throughput.
It's good enough for
That's,
fire.
like,
Yeah, there's some
much more
weirdness for all the
compelling,
people who
and
join
then
us
we're
right now
giving
and
you
are
a
like,
reason
what?
to
What
build
is?
structures.
Why?
'Cause I know
Why
in
are they have
Valheim, for me,
spacesuit
it's
on?
so much better when my friends are like, hey, we need a building here. You know, we're going to do this boss, we need a building here. Oh, that attributes menu is going.
Here's the thing, though. Let's be real for a hot second, please. In Satisfactory, you also wear a spacesuit, and even though there is a lot of green there, like, you have a helmet on in Satisfactory. Sure, you don't have to look for O2 all the time, but technically, right, and nobody cares about that. Just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah.
It's changing. We're getting a talent system. So just when you see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's really awesome. So, we will be having another live stream and we will cover
When?
other content. So you're not going to see the same content over and over again. We will speed things up a bit. We'll go a bit further down the track. Maybe we'll do some forest fires, maybe even...
Ooh, you can have forest
some
fires? That
animals
sounds
here.
pretty
Check
amazing.
out the alpine biome and caves.
Yes, so we've
We have
got
to
a lot
burn
of...
stuff down. Forest fire for sure, yeah.
Yep, we've got a lot planned for you and we're so excited. And also, we've got some behind the scenes
I'm looking forward to that. Like, I'm actually curious about the game.
coming up on our YouTube channel very, very shortly. So we've got a bunch of content coming up for you, the community, and we're really, really happy to get your feedback and very excited. Very, very excited. I'm very excited.
We will be taking people's suggestions. So I know on all our previous...
I love his
games,
accent.
and, you know, Brian is great
Suggestions.
for this, just hopping into people's streams.
Where is he from?
So, you know,
I know that he's from
you know,
Europe.
join the dev streams, and these aren't just a marketing.
But he was
thing. We do
from
want to get people's ideas.
Sweden?
Yep.
Denmark?
You know, like
think it was one-
I was streaming my little project the other day, and someone suggested an idea, and that is
I think it was from a...
Oh,
Oh, they found a
I
bear.
don't think we were supposed to show this,
No.
but someone just got mauled by a bear.
Oh, the bear's
And the bear is underwater. Okay.
It's on the tiny screen.
But yeah, you know, we are reading your comments as we're going through here, and you know, one of the
You
really
got
fun
bad.
parts about this is going to be able to get people's feedback on it before we get it out there. You know, we want to talk with the community on Discord. We want to talk with streamers. You know, we see Twitch and you know, our players in the community is a really important part of our
Trovo.live.
Yep, and we'll
Check out
click on those
trovo.live.
as well.
Cough, cough.
Alrighty, so I think we're about time now. So thank you everybody.
I think they
for
said
joining
that
us
twice.
Today. It's been a pleasure to have you all here, seeing you in the chat, Twitch partners and the like. Thank you so much, and we're really looking forward to dishing out more content for you and working with you all to make Icarus as amazing as possible. And yes, go follow us on social media. Go to our website. It's
It looks interesting.
icarus.com. All of our links are there.
Oh, there's a storm
go to
coming
our
in.
Discord,
That's kind of cool.
Discord.gg, survive Icarus. Anything else that you, Brian, and Dean would like to add before we wrap things up?
The tree's still on the roof.
Yeah, I just think it's awesome to you know,
I mean,
know
that's
for me,
that's an
and I
important thing
think
to
Brian
add.
feels the same
This,
way. We didn't
the,
wanna go
the
back
tree is still
out
on the roof.
until we had something, and you know, now we've got something. We've invested a lot of time in the technology, and I'm glad we got the streaming capture, because you go on and look on the PCs and it's running buttery smooth, and then it's coming out choppy through here. But you know, this process is really
I fixed
important,
it.
and we think it's something.
So
I
I'm
don't know,
good.
that a lot of
I already
streamers
forgot
really
about
actually
it.
Get in there with the community. So I think for
That
me,
it
it's just
started.
really exciting to have that. And
Technical
I'm
difficulties
hoping
happen.
to catch up with some of our
As a live streamer, I know that
streamers
very
as
well.
and actually talk through what are they looking for, what kind of support do they need, you know, to be able to bring content, and also a plea if anyone wants to use our trailer that we made in their content, please do. I saw there were a couple of people that were scared to include it in their YouTube videos or play it on their stream. You can play any of our content on YouTube.
Content.
any of our music,
I love his
any of that kind of
accent.
stuff. Please use it.
As
And
somebody who
actually,
has
I
a
think
strong
our
accent,
content
I love his
creator
accent.
on
I'm not making fun of him.
survivorcast.com
Like, I
that
love
you
his
can
accent.
Go and download and use it as much as you want.
Yep, it's encouraged. We really want to work closely with you, and we hope that your content is amazing, and we're going to help you make it as amazing as possible.
Yeah, so
I
all that
will
content that we
probably
produce,
make some
people will be
content
able
here.
to upload to their channels.
Yeah. Like what I've seen
provide
so
you
far,
with
this looks
content,
kind of interesting. Like,
commentary,
I'm really,
even if it's very negative, you know, that's fine. So
Yeah, we'll listen to it all.
I'm
Awesome.
curious.
All right, well, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Bye. Thank you for the first look.
Now we'll pretend to chat to each other.
That ending was great. And now let's pretend we are chatting to each other because she thought the cut already happened. It was great. I love it. But that was the first look at Icarus. I will be honest, it looked interesting. Well, first of all, it's a survival game, right? I think we can all agree on that this is, let me see if they actually like, where they have fixed the stutter a bit. This one looked actually kinda good, and then let's talk about it. Like, here's the thing. It's a survival game at heart. Oh, this is where where the stutter is still pretty bad, and then they're fixing it. I think it's rather here. Yeah, this is where they fix it. It is a survival game at heart. I think we can all agree on that. Right? Like, sure. But that doesn't mean that survival games cannot be improved. The problem is with a lot of survival games nowadays that we have reached a point in survival games where we reached a point of continuity in this genre. Like, a lot of the survival games which are coming out nowadays are just the same thing with a different skin on it, right? It's like the same thing over and over and over again, but just in a different package. And this is why I'm getting so bored by it. And Valheim was one of the rare cases where I was really invested, because A, Viking setting is not being used too often in the survival genre. And there are actually things to do. I have goals. I know that a lot of people will say, nah, survival games are there to make your own goals. And that's true. But I'm also a person who likes to have goals I can work forward to. Like, this is one of the problems I have with Satisfactory right now. Yes, I know Satisfactory is not a survival game, but it uses some ideas here and there. Where in Satisfactory you don't really have a goal. There is no goal you try to achieve. It's just you're researching, working on one tier, then you move to the next, then you move to the next to get the next one. Like, there's not much going on gameplay-wise, and Valheim did this really great by saying, okay, you have to defeat the bosses. You try to impress Odin, and your end goal is basically to defeat all the bosses, a little bit like Terraria does, or Starbound and stuff, right? So, give me goals, and as far as we know, Icarus will have those goals. Like, when you are going on a mission, they're telling you what you have to do for the mission. Like, you're not just on the planet for a day and do sightseeing. You are on the planet to achieve certain goals for this game before you go back into orbit. That is basically your goal. And that is actually something I'm looking forward to. Like, give me goals. Let me work towards something. You can still have a lot of sandbox elements, but give me some things by the end of the day. I can say, okay, I have done enough sandbox. I have done enough tasks here which are just there to make my life a little bit easier, but now let's focus on an end goal. And I like to do that now and then. So that they are offering this is a pretty cool thing, and I'm looking forward to that. I really love how the house looks inside. Like, the interior looks really sleek. They're not showing that too often, but when you look at like the Conan Exiles housing, or even like the Rust houses, they always look a little bit like Lego sets, like just put together and not really like real houses. And this actually looks pretty good, like the whole interior. So I'm really curious about what they can do here. Environmental stuff, like you can create forest fires? What? Like, that is something I wanted so long for survival games, that the environment is actually doing something. Like, when they first showed this in Conan Exiles with the sandstorm, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. They will probably add more. And then later on, the sandstorms became weak. Like, they are not really that important anymore. And they never really added anything else to the game. Like, sure, there's rain, there's a bit of snow, but that doesn't really do anything. And the same goes with Valheim. Like, Valheim right now has a weather system, but the weather system doesn't do anything. It doesn't make any difference. And that they are trying to do something different here. That actually there is a weather system which will change things up and can even create like forest fires, or like lightning can actually hit you, or even like your house. Like, yeah, give me cool stuff. I think we have reached the technology at this point where it's probably still pretty difficult to make a really good weather system, but I think it's achievable with the systems we have nowadays, like with the technology. Like, I think it is achievable instead of just making weather look pretty. And when they are going for that, hell yeah. I really, really like that idea. So I'm curious. I want to see more of this game. If it goes into early access or they are letting streamers in, I will gladly check it out. Like, I would definitely dedicate some time. Would of course be cool if we can get like a community server or something together. You can play with, I think, up to 8 people. And this is definitely one of those things which I would love to play with you folks, if people are interested in stuff. But yeah, this looks curious enough. I want to see more. Also, one last thing before we are wrapping this up here. There was one last thing they showed a little bit later, right? Where they are killing the elk, the deer. Where's the... let me see. They're having like a deer in front of the door, which they're killing here in just a second. No, I think this already happened here. Ah, damn it. But yeah, they're killing like a deer in front of the door. And the really cool thing is that you can see the carcass just laying in front of the door, like they skinned it, they removed the meat and only the bones stayed behind. Like, I'm really curious what happens if you were leaving like the carcass behind. Like, will you get like wolves or bears? Yeah, there's the deer. Slightly in the wall. Physics. It's not bad, it's just funny. But I find that super interesting, that you can still see where you murdered like a deer and then you have the bones left. And maybe you can do something with the bones later on. Who knows, right? But I love that idea. Like, I'm very curious how they can utilize that, because as I said, in the end, there is still a lot of improvements to survival games which can be done to make them feel really well. And I think we have now reached the technology to achieve that. Yeah, there's the carcass, or well, the bones. That looks kind of cool. We have achieved now the technology to reach that we can make survival games more interesting. And I hope that's what they're trying to achieve here. Like, taking the next step into the survival genre. I'm hoping for that. So, we will keep an eye out for Icarus. By the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like. And if you're new to the channel, you want to see more Icarus gameplay, more reactions, and of course, well, if it is playable, more gameplay, don't forget to subscribe. I would definitely appreciate that. Hope to see you next time, and bye-bye.